Surges of southwest monsoon towards Indian tropical deciduous forest is typically considered as the downtime for wildlife trips. In-season rainfall makes many safari areas unapproachable and most national parks inoperable. But this is when magic touches forest of western Ghats to bestow the season of plenitude and prosperity, and Nagarhole blushes like a bride with one of the 5 colors of mana. Hadlu in Kannada means grassland. This part of Nagarhole has a unique vegetation of these hadlus, something that you cannot find in Kabini or Bandipur. And I have come here to stay right in front of a hadlu, one of the rare few places in South India which offers unobstructed view of Milky Way galaxy stretch on clear winter nights. Because I was wondering that if it rains and all that, people are saying that still tiger sighting is happening in the forest.
Yeah, I heard about here. Whenever the COVID time, they have to fix, the Machaan people have fixed a trap camera here. The 2 male tigers are cut across through our property in the first COVID time.
Okay.
And after that, they have sighted for 1 leopard and civet cats.
I have never seen civet cats.
Yeah, that is in our coffee plantation. You can chance to see the civet cat.
Okay.
Especially that is a fruiting time.
Okay.
You know, that's why I'm saying December, Jan is the best time to come to this area. You can see chance to the civet cat also.
Sure. While the best season to travel based on your species of preference, I will discuss later in this video. Yes, this is the unfiltered raw verdancy of this forest in monsoon. A green that needs no touch-up to cater to visual appeal. And even when sightings tend to be low now, if it happens, I know it's difficult to beat the unassuming beauty of wildlife sighting in monsoon. The elephant and oriental darter both frolicked in that perspective that nothing is really small in this big forest. The only thing that ought to be small here is human footfalls. The gentler prints we leave, the better. This is Gaur's footprint. This one famous, you all know. This is slightly deformed, but it's Leopard's footprint, I think. This one belongs to Sloth Bear. You see the width of the paw. This one is Sambar Deer. This one is Kutta, spotted deer footprint. And this one is of wild dog. I would start with the second best thing I liked about Machaan. It's the well-humored Wi-Fi name of this property. The best thing is, if you remain connected to the Wi-Fi while spending time at the spacious balcony facing the forest buffer, You are going to ruin your own holiday indeed. They were saying that elephants come in this area. Is it true?
Yeah, yes, of course.
Elephants come here?
3 days back, elephant cut across this area.
Okay.
But that is not come to our property inside. That is moving through. They have a certain trials are always moving through their own path.
Okay.
It's a corridor.
Yeah, right.
That corridor only they are to use. Otherwise, they can come for food only sometimes. Why this time is elephants are came this area. Now it's a right season of the jackfruit.
Oh.
The jackfruit getting smell 2 kilometers away from elephant catch up that one and then come to and eat that jackfruit.
Waited till late at night, but it was drizzling. Then today got up very early morning to check whether if any elephant comes.
We can't predict any time coming, any other mammal moments. Because I heard today morning is alarm call from that side. That is the barking deer alarm call.
Okay, today morning. What time?
That is around 6:30. I heard the barking deer alarm call.
I was here, but I probably didn't recognize.
I'm staying nearby, downward only.
Okay.
I heard that call. That's why I'm saying that is we can't predict any other mammal movements. It doesn't make much sense for you to stay at Machaan if the only question in your mind while visiting a forest is here people are coming for mostly they want to need peaceful place. In Machaan, you have to get it a very peaceful area. You can get it only for the bird sound here. I probably was so engrossed in birding and watching the mesmerizing sunrise from the balcony that I even missed barking deer alarm call. That's quite unlike of me, and that's the magic of Machaan's location for you. So you were telling me that you saw 2 black leopards, right? That is in Kabini side. Yeah, Kabini side. That was happening 2018, I think so. Okay. It's not 2 black leopards. That is a black panther, male and female together. Male is black one. The male is sire, right? It's a black one, and female is like a little more color, a brownish color. Okay. That is not a black one. It's not a complete jet black. That's what you mean, no. Right? So basically, it's a melanistic. Their skin actually. Its sighting is difficult. Okay, because they said that Saya, the black leopard, he came from the Kutta side. Last month, so many people come and watch that one. I think that is one of the old. Yeah. One of the reasons I visited Nagarhole last monsoon was because I got confirmed news about Saya's movement from Kabini side to this side of the forest range. For the uninitiated, he is the famed black leopard of Western Ghats who looks like a wound-ravaged dark knight now.
I only saw him in photographs and couldn't catch his glimpse even after multiple safaris from the Kabini side with Mr. Shahjang, who rose to fame in Indian wildlife scene after documenting his life for many years. Even when I was taking a chance, something inside told me that Saya would elude me this time too. And so I decided to not go for round-the-clock multiple safaris like I usually do. Since I was going to spend more time inside the property, I chose a stay that appealed to my senses. As I was admiring the photographs and comic strip of green humor by Rohan Chakrabarti in the form of wildlife map of India with 46 biodiversity hotspots, it occurred to me that the reception area of a property is like the cover of a book. It doesn't even actually set the tone of a tale. Yet you judge the book based on its cover, going against the popular idiom/wisdom every single time. To know how well a property is maintained for real, try taking a peek at its back cover. But usually that's an inaccessible area for the guests. Hi, you are watching Out of the Den, and I am here to share with you my experience inside Machaan Wilderness Lodge in Nagarhole, earlier known as Rajiv Gandhi National Park, a 850 square kilometer tiger reserve with a core area of around 645 square kilometer, straddling the districts of Coorg and Mysore in Karnataka. If you have seen my Big Cats of Bandipur series, let me tell you that Nagarhole is contiguous with Bandipur, which is located to its southeast. The Kabini River separates Nagarhole from the Bandipur National Park. Now there are 3 gates to Nagarhole, while there is one gate to enter this luxury Machaan, just outside of which the loudest insect kept quiet at my request, adding to one more reason why I can't forget my stay here. In the erstwhile private game reserve of Maharaja of Mysore, a fascinating world unraveled before my eyes when monsoon made this extensive woodland delightfully lush. Unlike other famed Indian national parks such as Kanha, Corbett and Ranthambore that are closed during the months of monsoon, Karnataka's Nagarhole National Park remains open all year round, just like another year-long wildlife destination, Bandipur. In this video, I will discuss with you everything you need to know to plan your trip in this forest if you are visiting from the Nanachi Gate located near Kutta, including the best time to visit Nagarhole depending on your interest. Detailed information about the safari. Shall you rather stay at Jungle Raj's property instead of the property I am reviewing here? And I will also present a curious use case to show why you should not take online reviews very seriously and decide your stay solely based on individual experience, so to speak, including mine. Remember, as I told you before, the purpose of your visit should be the top consideration while deciding your stay. So if the purpose is to find that elusive black leopard only by booking back-to-back jeep safari, JLR stay is the way to go. Since my purpose was to experience the harmonious blend of rustic nature with a comfortable stay from a place where I can enjoy wildlife without having to step out, I chose Machaan. Since childhood, my strict middle-class upbringing made me believe that I shouldn't touch minibar in a hotel room. Yes, I got an impression from parents that taking anything out from the minibar of that room would suddenly make everyone broke. Till date, I share a shaky equation with minibars, even though now I am adult enough to understand the exaggerated narrative. Old trauma dies hard. I at least managed to conquer the guilt over perceived luxury without being overtly attached to it, and now once in a while, I treat myself with good experience. Yes, a voice in head still intermittently nags that rather I should put this hard-earned money in savings for future, but I don't find much sense to always compromise the present over practicalities. No, I am not selling you a life is uncertain and so only live in the now script. But I am advocating for putting effort behind what makes you happy if you are not privileged and cherish the fruits of your labor. And Machaan has reasonable price points related to other comparable properties. Still, if any of you in impressionable mind watching this video and feeling little upset because you cannot afford this now, or mistaking this as someone's daily life and dragging yourself down with unconscious comparison, let me tell you that I stayed in all kinds of places in Nagarhole before this. And since all good things are still wild but not anymore free in today's world, we need to strive towards what we want. Having said that, you can stay at a modest accommodation and still can enjoy far better wildlife sightings if you plan well, and Botekara Ayappa, the god of forest and hunting, favors you. In Coorg, there are dedicated forests beside every village settlement to Ayappa, and the original inhabitants of this region called Kodavas held the belief that spirits of their deceased ancestors would roam in this sacred forest. I think the last time I visited forest from the Nanachi Gate, that is from the Kutta, Coorg side of the Nagarhole, probably in 2016. But, it's been a while. And this time when I wanted to visit Nagarhole from Bandipur, this property was on the top of my mind, and really love to spend some more time. Actually, I'm already started repenting that why I booked it for 2 nights. Did not have much leaves, but yeah. And I have been to several forests in India and stayed in some of the premium properties, but especially the USP of this place is the location.
This region is a mid-region of the Western Ghats. In Western Ghats, we can see 26 species of endemic birds. And that particular endemic seen in all over the world, you can see only the part of Western Ghats. A lot of foreign people have come and visited for Western Ghats to see these particular birds. And you can see in this Machaan 5 to 7 endemic species. That is very lucky to us. And one more thing, the 2 species are getting very difficult because that is in the Gaur area. We can assure for 24 species of Western Ghats in the 15 days too.
Myself, Goutham. I've been working with Machaan for about 15 years. So I started I'm working as a naturalist or a nature guide, I would say, as a nature guide. So my job here is to spot some of these little tiny nocturnal creatures and knowing about that and explaining to the visitors here.
Right.
So I've been interested in spotting tigers mostly. I started in this field, it was in 2004 when I was working as a part-time employee in a wildlife resort in my college days.
Okay.
So I used to be a nature guide there, and then I started slowly learning about the birds, how to track these tigers, how to take people walk inside the jungle, and I got trained by some of the wildlife experts. Recently, I done the naturalist or a nature guide course or conducted by NCF. It's a NGO organization.
You don't have to step outside the premise to indulge in bird watching or observe endemic Western Ghats animals. And if you are a true wildlife enthusiast, I would strongly recommend you to participate in these activities at no additional cost. But it's prudent to inquire about Mr. Peter and Mr. Gautham's availability before you book your stay. From luxury camping to exotic tents, India now has no dearth of fantastic wildlife retreats, and some of them do come with in-house naturalists. However, very few of them possess that hunger in their eyes and deep knowledge as them. Going back to the safari gates, the 3 main safari entrances to Nagarhole are the Nanachi Gate near Kutta, the very popular Kakanakote Gate near Kabini, and the Viranahosahalli Gate near Hunsur. I have explored this forest from all these gates numerous times in the past, and I can tell you that the topography is different. As mentioned during the complete Bandipur guide video, here too the safaris are operated by jungle lodges and resorts, also commonly referred to as JLR, an ecotourism hospitality brand by the government of Karnataka, which has its presence across destinations, and safaris conducted by Forest Department fade in comparison to the JLR Jeep Safari, as the monopoly and discrimination are evident. While it's convenient to stay at the JLR property because of their hold over the safari, it restricts one's choices, and I don't particularly enjoy this arm twisting. I would rather prefer to explore a property like this from where I can enjoy watching IGFS or the Indian giant flying squirrel along with endemic Western Ghats frogs during the night walk with expert naturalists like Mr. Goutham, who learned about this forest from the tribal communities.
This walk is all about looking for some of the nocturnal species which comes in this estate. So we are about 1,000 meters above sea level, very closer to the Western Ghats. We have some of the endemic species what we are hearing around us. A lot of different noises, right? All are different insects. These are all nocturnal insects.
If you got the knack and eye, from a balcony in early morning you can experience how the forest wakes up in front of your eyes, the brilliant soundscape and forest sunrise as I have already documented, the link of which I will add at the end. Here one can while away time breathing the jungle and admiring the local fauna without even needing to go for safari. So yes, this is the kind of place where you can get older members of family too who would like to relish the serene atmosphere without having to join the feverish pursuit of wildlife sighting in a jeep safari. That writing desk close to the balcony was my favorite corner. As you understood by now, Machaan is located in South Coorg, nestled inside a lush coffee plantation. If you are interested to visit here, I would encourage to visit the official website and directly contact the property for booking instead of booking online. Chances are you will get some discounts if you ask for it. Also, you can convey your own interest to the manager and get clear about the local weather trends and availability of different guided tours under naturalist of your choice. At least that's what happened when I booked this Luxury Machaan. A spacious room that comes with the panoramic view of the Nagarhole from the private sit-out, an outdoor bubble jet jacuzzi which I couldn't use as it was running on and off when I visited, and other standard amenities. Currently they don't have in-house driver accommodation, but to make sure that your driver is nearby, they can arrange accommodation close by. Someone mentioned in the Make My Trip review that children will get bored as there is nothing for them inside the property. I think birdwatching with kids is an excellent way to learn more about nature and ecosystems while spending bonding time as a family. They may fidget initially, make noises and birds may fly away, but they learn quickly how to behave in a natural environment way faster than a jeep safari. Then they start asking about what the Eurasian hippo is doing. Do bee-eaters only eat bees? Which trees and plants attract which birds? And this way, they would potentially develop empathy for all living beings unconsciously. Multiple research studies have shown a link between birding and a sense of calm, a reduction in stress and anger, and an easing of the sense of doom and gloom in adults and kids alike. So instead of only teaching them jungle equals to share, if you can tell them that crows can remember human faces, they may pick up an inexpensive hobby that's fun and interesting for all ages. But it doesn't mean things cannot be improved here. Well, certainly they can add some options for indoor games at least, if not a wildlife interpretation center for kids to learn about Nilgiri Biosphere Reserve, because they do have that kind of space. But come to think of it, no Indian wildlife destinations are tailor-made for children. I think many Indian tourists expect adventure sports sort of activities with wildlife resorts. But that's not the standard. As you can see, there's ample parking space here. JLR Safari Jeep won't come to Machaan to pick you up though. You need to reach the Nanachi Gate. Here you can book a specific package or you can customize your stay. All relevant details should be available in the website and I will not discuss those. You will not get any camera gear, camera bin bag, hat or safari jacket here or nearby. So make sure to double check while packing. There's no option to rent gears either from the safari gate. It's prudent to check the safari timing beforehand as it may seasonally vary. If you book safari through Machaan, they will share the details of the jeep and driver. You may reach the Nanachi Gate and procure bus safari tickets on the spot depending on the footfall, but it's must to book Jeep Safari in advance. If you don't want to miss Jeep Safari and decide to stay at Machaan, book well in advance to ensure your slot, as all properties are dependent on JLR Jeeps availability and they need to make prior arrangements.
And that's why JLR property is in such a huge demand, right? Because of safari. So, but I will still do safari here. So they actually have tied up with JLR. And I have to visit Nanachi Gate, and from there the JLR Jeep will pick me up for a safari in Nagarhole. So I will get to still do the 3-hour safari because I have made prior booking. They got the time to actually book it for me. So if you tell at the fag end of your trip, or even if you get an accommodation here, doesn't mean necessarily you will get a safari. So you have to actually book the property beforehand and tell them well in advance for them to ensure that you get a booking in JLR Jeep.
While visiting Machaan from Bandipur, what I didn't appreciate about this entire journey is the ploy to intimidate after we crossed Gundlupet RTO checkpost. A forest officer imposed a fine as our vehicle has slowed down at the sight of an elephant when we were moving on the highway inside the forest. From a moving vehicle, I didn't notice the photography prohibited notice written in small font somewhere on the gate. And while we didn't totally halt anywhere, I was using GoPro. Note that I was staying at JLR Bandipur, and on the same morning, I visited this same forest stretch wherein I could use camera freely. But now that I was on a regular cab on the way to Machaan and not on a safari jeep, I didn't know that we are prohibited to use camera. It is also not allowed to stop the vehicle on the highway through this forest stretch of around 20 kilometers. These roads, besides geoparadising wildlife, are also exposing pristine areas of Bandipur and Mudumalai under heavy rainfall. Following a complaint by the Conservator of Forest and Director of Bandipur Tiger Reserve about motorists who often halt inside the forest and create a nuisance, the Principal Chief Conservator of Forest has ordered imposition of hefty fine on irresponsible travelers and tourists. The order directs the Forest Department staff to note down entry and exit time of each vehicle. Delay or early exit now invite penalty. It means if a motorist is now looking for a wild time in the forest, they will have to shell out INR 38,000 if they spend 12 hours in the jungle. The time spent in the jungle will be calculated according to the length of the stretch and the legal top speed of 35 kilometers per hour. While it is not advisable to exceed speed limit of 30 kilometers per hour on such protected areas, they also want to ensure that commuters cannot capture wildlife moments while not paying for safari. The interesting bit is that in 2010, the Karnataka High Court banned traffic between 9 p.m. and 6 a.m. on this road on the ground that speeding vehicles are taking a toll on endangered species. And there were many hit and run cases on NH 212, as I mentioned during my Bandipur Safari Guide video. But my driver was rebuked for slowing down. Since this highway is a wildlife corridor, naturally in elephant's proximity, the driver slowed down and my GoPro was on. Now the fact that I didn't know about the no photo rule is not Forest Department's problem. But what miffed me is the official tried to snatch my GoPro. He clearly tried to harass me when I wanted to see where it is mentioned that slowing down in the vicinity of wild animal for 2-3 minutes would attract 500 rupees as penalty. Anyway, while I am all for curbing nuisance and following all rules we need to stick to for protection of the wild, his behavior seemed like a planned and questionable move. And later I got to know they do this with many vehicles now by using apparently opposing rules to their advantage without following a standard procedure. Because frankly, which vehicle won't stop if a tiger or elephant happens to cross the highway or even keeps lurking nearby? Who won't take out camera if they have one if a leopard gives you time? And if you don't, what shall you do if an officer tries to confiscate your mobile phone for using the phone camera for a few minutes? I somehow managed to hold on to my device, but I think Forest Department shall make all such rules transparent and easily accessible in the public domain so that nobody flouts them, including those in charge of enforcing. Strange that in the same country, I saw exotic wildlife like hulak gibbon and capped langur and recorded them extensively from the highway for hours before getting inside the safari in Kaziranga's Burapahar zone, another accident-prone area for wildlife. Explore my channel for the relevant video if you're interested. There's no central meet and greet practice here before the safari, where some people like to discuss with other guests what they saw yesterday while drinking tea or coffee. It may feel a bit isolating here for those who are used to the pre-safari bustle. Also, don't expect packed breakfast like Central Indian safari, as food is strictly not allowed inside the forest here. You can finish your breakfast upon reaching. Even when safaris are open, monsoon is not a great time for major wildlife sightings, particularly big cats. Summer and monsoon are not ideal times for birding too. Nevertheless, I did pretty good bird photography in monsoon, as you can see, because my eyes are set with experience. If you are only keen on big cats, dry summer months offer maximum probability. But it doesn't mean great sightings cannot happen in other seasons. Overall though, winter is the best time to visit Machaan.
Season time. Season time means winter time is most of the people are saying the season time. Migration is happened the winter time only. You can see some of the high altitude birds are come low altitude because of winter. Then come and going back to after the season. That is we are saying season time.
Okay. So you think that winter is the best time to visit Machaan if birding is focused?
Yes, of course. Machaan is very.
That is November to January.
For the birding.
For birding? November to January.
But we are saying that the jeep safari.
They don't wait.
That's only the problem. Otherwise, the bird population is very good for the Nagarhole.
So JLR has a monopoly, right?
Yeah.
No other jeep gets inside.
No.
So I am just curious, since they are so much focused on tiger and leopard to figure that out.
Yeah.
Can you guys not start anything over there for just for birding trips inside Nagarhole?
No, not possible.
Not possible.
That is forest department doesn't allow to that one.
Why forest department only got into
all the forest department, even in Kerala, Tamil Nadu, they have different kinds of rules, different trials only operating. For example, the Kerala, we have not allowed to safaris in the forest. It's eco-friendly forest.
Elephants come visit our place once in a year. That was in jackfruit season.
When is that?
So it came last week, 3 days back. It came very close to restaurant.
Okay.
And then this end of the grass, where this grassland ends on the other side, it's eaten by these elephants.
When is the jackfruit season normally?
It's now is the jackfruit season, June,
Now is
July.
the season.
Yeah, in winter days we get to do a nice stargazing. Yeah, we get to see the Milky Way stretch between 12 o'clock to 4 o'clock. We get a nice clear.
Okay. In November, December.
Yeah, in December, January, November, December. Yeah.
All the stars are mostly visible.
Mostly visible, but in peak December days again. But it's between this particular time, 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock.
At this time of the year, it is not possible to see.
We don't get, if it is a clear sky, we get to see it even now. But it's a lot of clouds, right?
So you were saying December Milky Way is visible from here?
Not Milky Way. What do you call it?
That's why
Milky Way stretch.
Milky Way stretch.
Milky Way stretch.
All the
Come, I'll take you there. There is an open area. You get to see constellations.
Are you talking about Milky Way or Orion constellation?
Orion constellation, both the Milky Way stretch.
Okay.
You know the cloud line of the Milky Way. That is, we get to see clearly.
December.
The spa room. From the balcony of all the yacht room, you get to see this Milky Way. It's clear.
Is it safe to use the balcony at night?
Yes,
It's not a problem?
Nothing problem in it. You can enjoy the balcony. I mean, the view.
Slowly, a lot of them are becoming visible now.
Our eyes, turn off the light. Our eyes start using it.
Yeah.
If you turn off the light,
Yeah,
your
that
eyes
is one
will-
thing I also noticed once I was in
Dark,
Darjeeling.
we have see how these nocturnal animals like flying squirrel, they have 100% eyesight in the night. Even human beings, we have something like a 30% of the eyesight. We can walk without a light in the night, but we are adapted, used with the light. So that's why our eyes are not able to.
I won't advocate bringing pets in a forest area, but should you decide to bring one, these are few pet-friendly properties around at the time of making this video. You will find more if you are visiting from the Kabini side. Pets are strictly not allowed owing to Machaan's proximity to the national park. But I was not far from canine companions as Romy and Julie were there to liven up the common area. Julie posed gorgeously before my lens and they didn't disturb anyone. Yes, people do get disturbed by their presence, as I learned from a TripAdvisor review, which negated everything I have shared about Machaan so far. Are you watching a sponsored review then? Let's read through the grievances a bit. It mentioned that the booking process is complicated, the reason being the team took a whole day to confirm the receipt of the payment. Well, this happens fairly regularly with properties in outskirts lacking stable connectivity. While this may be inconvenient for some guests, the complication part is not clear. So far my own experience is concerned, I got prompt confirmation with no complication. The second issue mentioned here is when they arrived for check-in at the reception, they were met by one of the staff who took them straight to the room with no check-in procedure and welcome drink. The reason being the reception was under renovation and the person in charge was out. Machaan is not too commercialized yet. It lacks a designated front desk, and usually the manager or someone appointed for these tasks take care of the formalities. In his absence, it seems one staff directed the guest to the room and the formality happened later. Not sure what's the real concern here again, maybe skipping the welcome drink. If you have noticed, when I first showed a reception, I mentioned on the string that don't get bothered if you don't see people around immediately. I never felt that Machaan was understaffed even during my off-season visit, but then I was visiting in 2024. And to be fair, this is a 2019 review, which I read before I booked here. That's why what we do in TripAdvisor or YouTube is not a real property review, when we merely can narrate our own experience. One needs to visit the property multiple times over different seasons and years using different approaches to make a real review, as standards and experience seasonally vary in most properties, and this is where let's give the devil its due. JLR properties currently run by the Indian Forest Service officers can score with boring consistency. Eat food, go to safari, return, drink tea, coffee, wash, rinse and repeat. And also the price point of JLR King Sanctuary's costliest Maharaja package at Nagarhole is much lower than Machaan because the latter is a premium stay. No chance of missing welcome drink because none promised. Come to think of it, Machaan served me tea numerous times inside the room during monsoon without much ado. Even though for food you need to visit the in-house restaurant in most properties. Also, nobody would usually complain if JLR reception or other area is undergoing renovation. A part of the property was actually undergoing renovation when I visited Bandipur, and neither of you could make out from my video nor it bothered me enough to explicitly mention. My personal opinion is that when the cover of the book is in shambles, and by that I mean when the reception area is undergoing renovation, a property should temporarily suspend bookings, but then I guess it's just not economically viable for a large lodge. If all you want to do Nagarhole is back-to-back jeep safaris to maximize your wildlife sightings, I would choose JLR. This time I booked only 2 safaris because the purpose of my visit was to enjoy the stay amidst natural sight and sound in a pleasing environment with excellent food. Now the kicker. On the way to the room, they were greeted by 2 large, over-friendly dogs, one of whom actually pounced on the guest. It was quite a scary experience, especially as we don't have pets, and as these dogs were not accompanied by any of the Machaan staff. I had to move away from the dogs inch by inch. Machaan never had any dogs except these Indian native dogs, and they cannot be controlled or accompanied by the staff members as they are free-ranging. They stay inside whenever they wish to, but they are not pets. While I can understand that everyone is not comfortable with dogs, but you are coming to a place where in the worst case scenario a tiger can pounce on you. And if one is not comfortable with the topmost domesticated animal in the world, frankly speaking, they should rethink their choice of destination. Next concern is the approach road to the room, as they had to walk downhill through an uneven muddy slope with no steps to reach the cabin room. An electric golf cart buggy promptly arrived every time I needed a drop from room. Not sure whether that service was available in 2019, maybe not. But just look at where cabins are located. When a coffee plantation is right in front of you, it is expected that one needs to negotiate few tricky steps, which can be disagreeable for some people during monsoon. But they stayed in the last week of April. So I guess These guests didn't enjoy the rustic elegance Machaan boasted about. Then the review went on to explain problems with the lock of the room, connectivity issues, lack of other guests and stuff. Wait, how lack of kitchen stuffs matter when a sumptuous food was served nevertheless? The facility doesn't mention any games room or recreational activities except pool and spa. If they wanted to play cricket inside a property, they should have opted for properties like Mango Mist Resort in Bangalore outskirts with a good array of activities and a rather solid cricket ground. Where endangered mammals, birds and insects are roaming around and peace reigns supreme, it is not advisable. Anyway, I presented this use case with plethora of what they described as red flag to show how mismatched expectation, ignorance and dare I say, a sense of entitlement can ruin one's own traveling experience and misguide others who may not have the time or taste to dig deep. Some other reviews, including this one, called out one common concern: the long and rugged approach road to Machaan. Even five-star property like Sarai Kabini and exclusive stay like Bison Kabini have bad approach roads, and they are in Kabini, close to the most popular gate of Nagarhole. If you are a regular wildlife traveler like me, you know that unless a property is situated on the highway going through the forest, the approach road to most of the properties in any Indian wildlife destination can be narrow and jagged. I liked Machaan's commitment to sustainability through thoughtfully designed places while retaining the rustic charm alive and recruitment of local tribes in various walks. Instead of embellishment, folks here behaved authentically, not casual, not over the top, we are waiting for your return variety. Ultimately, the reality is, wherever you go, there you are.
But as I say, right, everybody's, personal experience will be different. You can pretty much figure out that this is not a sponsored post based on the subscriber count. So I'm doing it completely on my own. Nobody has asked me to do it. And also the beauty of it is that you are not under any compulsion to actually say nice things about something that you don't feel like, or, unnecessarily criticize out of personal vendetta. If, hypothetically speaking, even if somebody invites me to stay in a place for free, I don't know whether will I like it or not. The fact that I saved money, for so many months, I looked forward to it. And the excitement that ran through my vein when I booked Machaan and when I ultimately came, I think all this will go. If all this will come on my platter and, somebody gives me for free, I think somewhere that at least definitely will douse down the excitement a lot. And then you will be compelled to review according to the demand of the property, because since they are giving you free stay, you may not be able to, freely express all your opinions about it.